Hey guys, it's Jessica, and I'm going to talk about today what I did all summer. So, this summer I was at UF, or University of Florida, and I had the privilege of going to a camp or a program there, so I spent pretty much all summer, and I worked in a graduate lab under Dr. Locke in the computer science department. I worked with natural language processing. But the lab itself, the research group, what they do is they build simulations, so models online on the computer that work mainly with creating different situations to train doctors. They train doctors in either empathy training or to deal with different types of situations that are hard to find actors to kind of simulate. Normally what people do, or what doctors and doctor training programs do, is they hire actors who can pretend to be the different patients, and then they go through role-playing scenarios, but that's really expensive and that's also really time-consuming and hard to replicate and do well. So what the research group was doing is creating different computer-based simulations that did this, and their studies revolved around everything from communicating between two different computers, creating lifelike scenarios, whether or not different aspects such as culture or race of the doctor changed that, what type of simulations worked, and how to create empathy and teach empathy. My specific work was more on natural language processing, so that was focused basically on the coding part of it. When you have a simulation, what you do is you type in a response, so you type something into the computer, and then it responds with something back. It has a character, and it talks back to you. So you'd act as the doctor, and you'd ask it questions to try to diagnose its illness, right? The character's illness. What I worked on doing was making it better so that the computer had a better accuracy of responding. So normally it's a keyword matcher, it just matches based on what keywords are in the sentence, and natural language processing focuses more on specific models and specific statistic methods to try to analyze the sentence and decide how close it is to something else. I worked with an SVM model, which is a support vector machine. Pretty much what it did is it decided whether or not a sentence was a paraphrase or not a paraphrase based on how we trained it. We trained it using an algorithm in the Bible, so we gave it two different versions of the Bible and said these are paraphrases of each other, and then set them apart to like chapters apart, and then said these are not paraphrases, and pretty much trained the computer that way what a paraphrase was and what it wasn't. I tested the different methods and compared them, and then came up with a new model that was the best overall and had the higher accuracy, and it was actually really cool. And maybe someday I'll put a video up that talks more specifically. I could give the whole lecture and the PowerPoint presentation, but I don't know if anybody would really be all that interested. Let me know if you are. Later I'll put up some of the videos of my dorm room. I got a real feel for what college life was like. I got to live in a dorm with three other girls, one other girl in my room, in the dorm in the room I was sleeping in, and just two suite mates that lived in another room. We had a kitchen, and so I kind of learned to cook. I can feed myself now, which is really exciting, and do my own laundry. Yeah. Other exciting things, it was pretty awesome. It was called SSTP. I suggest everybody apply for it. It's awesome, especially if you're going into, it's for rising sophomores and rising juniors and seniors, and it was pretty awesome. It was a great experience. I had a ton of fun. You have a lot of freedom. You get to kind of run yourself a lot, but you also get a lot of responsibility, so it's a pretty cool transition into at least college life, because college life is a transition into real life. Okay, so bye guys!